been working on about sort of 15 to 20 different projects since January, looking to connect more data centers for hyperscale and large-scale customers across the country and in Europe. The majority of them are long line connections, further reach, and they're sort of quite large sort of plant sort of DC developments. Yeah, it's there's a lot of it going on at the moment. It seems to be a land grab, but it's certainly very much an expanding part of the market right now. It's very much a sort of expanding market, and they are really coming in and looking to exploit as many sites as they possibly can. And we're trying to facilitate that in the best possible way. So whether we're digging new duct out to those or using BTPIA solutions to get there, the further we go, the more likely we are to try and use a PIA system. And and on the other end of the scale, if you've got a data center to data center structure, which is a shorter, sort of less than 10-kilometer connection between two sites, similar sort of setup, but a little bit different. You'll do more fibres into those and straight ducts that you probably build yourselves to get the sort of capacity of duct and capacity of cable and the size of cable into those solutions. But most of the ones this year have been these long reach DC developments. Biggest ones last year was on the coast in the north, just north of Newcastle, and it's they tend to be large old industrial sites, normally surrounded by railways or canals or both, near to water for cooling, I guess, we're generally trying to get 4 points of access on, which can be challenging if you have got rail, canal and all these other obstructions around them, but that sort of seems to be what we're looking at now, as the sort of standard way forward. I mean, there's the challenge of the topography of getting in and out of the sites onto our network in a meaningful way to produce 4 routes, which you can mix and match with other DCs that are connected onto the Nordics or other options that you bring in to create that 4th route. The other way is by using the different structures. So again, PIA can come into that to be part of it, or a full build, depending on what's required. But we're not really only in the fibre business anymore. We're in the duct business as well, because we have to future-proof these solutions for hollow core, which is not quite there yet, but is coming hot on our heels. And to a certain degree, going back to those DC to DC solutions, you'd also be looking at a multi-core solution possibly for those. So we have to be aware of all of the potential technology on the market and look to ways to exploit that. The other thing is actually reducing the amount of solid core fibre we're putting in some cases, to reduce the cost of splicing across the board. Because the other element, of course, in the market at the moment is with the political situation that's going on, the price of everything is going up. So the market is going through a challenging time, and they want to expand like this. So it's an interesting time to be in the market, really. It's about separacy and access into the site. Some of the hyperscalers build their entire wave structure on 4-way access. And what we're finding is that a lot of these sites are being developed by an interim party who will identify the site, buy it, prep it in order to flip it to a hyperscale customer to then come in and take it on. So they will tend to want to prep it for the extreme solution. So if the one hyperscaler who's going to always have 4, for example, that's probably the client they want to try and attract, or any one of the others. So that's why they'll opt for 4, because that's the worst case scenario. in regards to how many points of access they're going to need. And then we can also help. We've had discussions with other large customers recently about the actual on-site diversity as well, about how to set up the duct structure on-site to exploit those 4 points of access in a meaningful way into the site layout as they're going to have it planned, and making that as flexible as it can possibly be. Well, they're going to run the network off it. It's as simple as that. If the connectivity onto the site is not right, it's not a viable proposition for them, or they're going to have to buy it with the view that they're going to have to adjust it to make it work. So that's part of the consultation we'll give to any of the clients that come to us for consultation about how they make these sites ready for a hyperscaler. They'll be asking us to sort of, how is that structure set out? What is it they want to buy? And we've had a few calls this year consulting with clients saying, it's going to have to be four-way. It's probably going to have to be ducts, not just a pair. It has to future-proof to a certain standard, a certain degree to make it a viable proposition. And if it's not, they will be looking at what they would need to invest on top if they were to consider buying it. And that's going to come out of the deal that they do with you in some form or another, whether they actually buy it at all. So